A partial resolution reached in State Inventory Tracking System case, a bulletin released by OMMA, or OMMA. On Friday, February 25th, the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, OMMA, Metrc, and plaintiffs reached an agreement allowing Oklahoma's seed-to-sale system to move forward. The agreed order, which is attached below, filed on February 25th in Oklahoma County District Court, lifts the restraining order that blocked OMMA from implementing a seed-to-sale tracking and tagging system for the medical marijuana industry. Branwell's Metrc, a co-defendant with OMMA in the non-vacated restraining order, is OMMA's contractor for the program. All medical marijuana commercial licensees have until Thursday, May 26, 2022, to become compliant with Metrc's seed-to-sale tracking system. This leaves 87 days left for implementation, which Oklahoma will need every day to prepare for. Quote, lifting this injunction clears the single biggest roadblock to OMMA enforcing the law, end quote, said OMMA's executive director, Adria Berry. Quote, this is a crucial step towards cracking down on licensees operating illegally or skirting the system within Oklahoma's medical marijuana industry. Come May 27th, we will focus the bulk of our enforcement authority on businesses that are not Metrc compliant, end quote. So according to the agreed order signed by District Judge Natalie Mann, licensed medical marijuana businesses have until May 26 to comply with the Metrc seed-to-sale tracking system. Dispensaries have until Wednesday, August 24th to sell or legally dispose of untagged medical marijuana products in their inventory. OMMA must conduct at least 5 online seminars by May 26 to educate licensees on their new seed-to-sale system. OMMA will ensure adequate call center staff is on hand to respond to questions about seed-to-sale program implementation. OMMA will soon provide updates on the implementation of the seed-to-sale tracking system. Commercial licensees will be notified of updates regarding the implementation by email and through updates on the OMMA website and social media channels. More details can be found on the seed-to-sale page of the OMMA website. Now, a few comments here. Some people in the industry think there will be another lawsuit or some sort of roadblock to stop Metrc implementation in Oklahoma. However, a lot has changed these past 10 months. First, OMMA received additional enforcement authority by a few bills passing in the legislature. Then, OMMA passed a set of emergency regulations outlining their expectations for seed-to-sale cannabis tracking. These adopted regulations are the framework that were originally missed back in April 2021 when OMMA tried to implement Metrc. As an Oklahoma operator, you should prepare a minimum of 200 hours to implement Metrc. And if you're a licensed dispensary with a lot of SKUs, you might need closer to 400 to 450 labor hours from your entire team to be able to implement Metrc. Now, it is really great that OMMA is allowing you that flexibility to either waste out or to get that inventory out of your system that is not tagged in Metrc. However, that is a huge labor expense, all because you did not get it into your Metrc system. So I highly suggest that you work through a strategy to either sell through that inventory before that deadline or prepare your team with these labor hours to implement Metrc. Here are 3 action items you should complete immediately. Number 1, audit your data standardization. Look at your product naming conventions, varieties of cannabis, and batches. Begin standardizing your data and removing any duplicates. Number 2, start organizing your physical inventory by batch with physical barriers between your batches and clear, concise naming conventions of labels on the outside for each batch. And finally, review your operating plans and playbooks. Begin identifying the areas in your operation that Metrc will impact. And if you do not have operating plans or playbooks or robust documentation within your operation, you should start developing these immediately. If you're not sure where to start, I've attached a few free resources below. The first free resource is a 90-minute training that dives deeper than Metrc's new business training that you are required to take to gain access to the Metrc system. My training is different than OMMA's and Metrc's training because I unpack the gray areas between operations, Metrc, and OMMA's laws. There will be a gray area while operating, and more than likely, when you reach out to OMMA for questions, they will probably copy and paste the regulations back to you, which isn't very helpful. You are probably asking the question to OMMA because you are studying the regulations and need further guidance on how to implement them. This is what RMCC is for, is to interpret these gray areas. The second resource is more than 50 pages of RMCC's Metrc onboarding guide, filled with frequently asked questions, a data standardization guide, and 2 different SOPs for 2 different types of implementation workflows depending on what's happening within your operation. A word of caution here. Don't be fooled by technology, quote unquote, automation from your inventory control systems that are integrated into Metrc. A lot of these inventory systems will unfortunately oversell this feature. Many Oklahoma operators fell for this back in April 2021, and if Metrc would have moved forward then, these operators would have been totally screwed. Automating the quote-unquote incoming external transfer process is extremely challenging. Since 2017, I have helped more than 20 technology systems, including some of the leading platforms out there, in their Metrc API integration. And none of them have mastered the transfer automation process within Metrc. This API endpoint is one of the 2 endpoints Metrc will use for implementation and is extremely challenging to automate within your Metrc third-party systems. There will be a lot of confusion over the next 6 to 12 months, especially for new Metrc users trying to understand the difference between external and licensed transfers. If you are unfamiliar with these terms, external transfers and licensed transfers, please consider signing up for the free 90-minute Metrc implementation workshop by RMCC.